I know my staff is laying around there.
I know. Yeah, I know.
Call this meeting to order. Kim.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I am actually going to turn this over to Chief Hargis.
And I am going to introduce you to Nathaniel. He's going to be doing your instruction tonight. So with that, I'll let him take over and we'll get this going.
Evening, folks. My name is Nathaniel Pike, paramedic with the North Kansas City Fire Department. And as we were been requested to come over, we're going to instruct you on how to perform hands-only CPR. This is different than traditional CPR in the regard that we do not do rescue breathing during this. It is compressions only with the activation of the 911 emergency system. So to start, we're going to simply watch a 1-minute video from the American Heart Association. This will give you an introduction. And this is a hands-on type of learning activity. So after we complete the video, if you have any questions, you're free to ask them at that point. If not, we're going to move right over to our dummies, go over some practice with how to do the proper rate and depth of compressions, and we will continue from there. So if you don't have any questions, I'll go ahead and start the video.
If you see a teen or adult suddenly collapse, it's important to act fast. Helping to save a life is easier than you might think. Just start hands-only CPR. The first step is to send someone to call 911 or call 911 yourself. Then get directly over the victim. Put the heel of one hand in the center of the chest, then put your other hand on top of the first. Then push hard and fast in the center of the chest until help arrives. It's important to push, giving 100 to 120 compressions per minute, which is about the same tempo as the song Stayin' Alive. Let's hope you never have to use hands-only CPR. But if you see a teen or adult suddenly collapse, don't be afraid to try it. Remember, call 911, then push hard and fast in the center of the chest until help arrives. Your actions can help save a life.
Where's the best place to check a pulse for them?
So depending on the size of the person, that's going to be carotid. If you can't reach that for some reason, it's winter, they have a thick jacket on. You can pull up their sleeve directly on the inside of their wrist, same line as their thumb. You can take 2 fingers. You can also do that on your, oh, I didn't realize we needed the mic. I forgot we were doing this live as well. Okay. Yes. No pressure. Okay. It's also easy to locate a pulse on the wrist. If you go on the inside of your thumb, you can actually just place 2 fingers directly below where your thumb and your wrist meet, and you should be able to feel your own pulse. It'll be the same on anybody who you approach. Typically on both sides, directly below the wrist is easy. Inside of the carotid artery is going to be your most accurate. You can also palpate a femoral if for some reason it's easier to access those areas. Any other questions? Yes,
I was just going to ask, why did they switch from like the old school like mouth breathing CPR that they taught me when I was a kid to this chest only? Is it COVID related where you don't want mouth contact, or is this like a better technique?
No, so this is actually a technique they teach in tandem with traditional CPR. So this is more of a down and dirty. We want to get this information to as many people as quickly as possible. So if you were to have a large organization where the possibility might happen, you have folks who can't get there soon, warehouses, places like Cerner, where you don't necessarily have the proper equipment for rescue breathing. So there's typically a little resuscitation mask you have. And if you have a large area where folks just simply can't get to that type of equipment, Hands only, it's been, through studies, they found that continual heart compressions are more effective than attempting to breathe with the person. And if you're just in a two-person situation where you have somebody down and a single rescuer, it can actually fatigue the rescuer quicker to move from compressions to breathing. So they don't teach this in place of it, they teach it as just a less time-consuming method to teach hands-only CPR. Because it's easier to teach multiple people this method because there's not as much involved, so it's a lot easier to distribute this rapidly as opposed to the involved session, which typically takes about, even if you're trying to condense it, 2 to 4 hours to get a proper session in, whereas hands only takes 15 to 20 minutes because it's literally just compressions and calling 911. Mm-hmm.
So if they take this training, you know, like, hey, I don't have to do the mouth, they may actually do it. They might actually, instead of just standing back and going, I don't want to.
Okay, so follow up, like you said, to check their pulse. So somebody passes out, falls down, and I check their pulse, and they have a pulse. You just call 911 at that point?
Just call 911.
Okay.
If you have a pulse, there's no reason to perform CPR at that
So
point.
if there is no pulse that you can find, then you should do this until help
Until
arrives?
yes, until the help arrives or they wake up and tell you to stop.
Okay, thank you.
Let me ask one question.
Yes,
So if your place, like here, I think, is that what, an AED device back there?
Yes, an AED.
What situation would you use that versus doing CPR?
The exact same situation that we're in right now. So if you have the ability and you know where it's at, so for instance, ours is directly on the wall behind us, there's no reason to not go and get the AED and bring it back and attach it to the patient and then follow the prompts of the AED, which at the conclusion of this, we can also go over how to use the AED if you would like and if we have time before your session needs to begin.
Thank you.
Sure.
Another reason you talked about the regular CPR to this, studies found that every minute that goes by somebody's pulse is non-breathing, it reduces their chance of recovery by 10%. So this is designed to get somebody doing CPR as soon as possible, so that gets that survival rate up there.
Any other questions? All right, if not, we will have you guys move down here to the tables. We have 8 dummies, so there should be enough for everyone to have an individual. If not, we can move over where 2 people kind of partner onto a dummy. Also on the table, you'll see a little small flyer. This has some educational information and a link to the website, so should you want to have more contact information with the American Heart Association, you'll be able to have the website, which is at the bottom. It also describes the differences between hands-only versus traditional CPR.